soon as I recorded the last video and uploaded it, another bit of news come out.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so on the last video, ignore some of the things I said, okay? On the last video, I said that I thought it was weird that Bassey has not been given a contract yet, but that has changed. So we can see here that the San Antonio Spurs are indeed re-signing Charles Bassey as well to a fully guaranteed 1-year, $2.2 million contract. Deal was negotiated by Cash Money. I'm just kidding. By Young Money, APAA CEO Addy Von Gontard and agent David Cohen. Hopefully I said that right. So yeah, so that's good. So if you're looking at the Spurs roster as it stands right now, I believe we have 15 players. I don't know if Harrison Ingram will be one that's sent to the G League. More than likely that will happen, especially if Spurs were to keep Keldon Johnson. I still don't know what's going to go on there. I know a lot of people are like, you know, oh, you're just wishing for Keldon to be gone. Honestly, I'm cool. I'm totally cool. My camera just froze. I'm totally cool with Keldon Johnson staying. Like I said, I've been very open about this. I just don't necessarily think that he fits with the team that we have right now, right? And I've given many reasons for that, but I won't harp on it. But as it stands right now, there is, you know, some speculation that something could be going down. Like we already looked at, Michael C. Wright did post this tweet in particular, in which, you know, we don't know what that means. Some people suspected that it might be something to do with Lowry. I highly doubt it, especially what the asking price is from Utah. I think that that's just not going to happen now. But, you know, something could possibly be on the rise, and I wouldn't be surprised by any means if the Spurs go ahead and try to move some pieces. I personally don't think that they're done just yet, and with the weird, like, not announcing, you know, Chris Paul's number, that's just strange to me. It seems like they're waiting for something. Already making a graphic for Harrison Barnes.
When your laptop is
oh my
powered
god,
by
that's
Intel
loud.
Core.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I'm not sponsored by Intel Core. Oh my god, that was loud in my ear. But anyways, yeah, so this is what our roster looking like right now. Let me go ahead and be completely transparent with you guys. There's a few that I definitely think, okay, they need to be on this roster right now. And that will be Stephon Castle. Obviously, Chris Paul will be there. We go. Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, those are some gimmies. I really want to keep Zach Collins, but with the addition of Bassey, and I'm sure Mamu's going to get even more, or Mamu's going to get even more minutes. If Bassey can remain healthy, I'm content with moving on from Zach Collins. But I don't think that he's as bad as a lot of fans make it out to be. It's just unfortunate that he's in a position where, you know, he's going to suffer. Like, naturally, he's going to suffer at that center position. Like, that's just going to happen. And he doesn't fit with Victor as well as we thought he possibly could. We thought that he would really spread the floor, but his three-point shooting wasn't what the Spurs expected this last season, nonetheless. So that's one I'm kind of up in the air about, but cool either way. Devin Vassell, yes. Sidi Sissoko, keep him. Julian Champagnie is one where I think he gets way too much hate. Like, way too much hate from Spurs fans. I mean, first and foremost, he's making, like, no money, okay? Like, the Spurs pay him in bologna sandwiches. Like, Julian Champagnie, all of us, we make more money than Julian Champagnie. So I don't understand why anyone is worried about Julian Champagnie, like, being on this roster from that perspective. But also, I think that he's actually a fine player, especially coming off the bench. Unfortunately, he's just been put in a position where he had to be slotted at that small forward position, and it's like, hey, make something happen as a starter. And, you know, he couldn't always compete with other starters. But I would be lying if I said he didn't make continuous good plays, that he wasn't a pretty good 3-and-D player, and when his 3 was on, it was on. So I think that he's perfect coming off the bench, and he can be a serious weapon coming off the bench, which, you know, he inevitably will be coming off the bench this season. Harrison Barnes, obviously. Victor Wembanyama, obviously. Keldon, like I said, I lean closer to, you know, moving on from him. But if you were to keep him, I suppose, you know, I really want to see Harrison Ingram get as many minutes as possible, but I don't think this would be his year to get a lot of minutes. And I also feel like another thing with Keldon is I feel like his tradability is at an all-time high right now. And it's only going to decrease with time, but he has a great contract. So if the Spurs were to keep him, it's cool. Like, I'm not going to trip about it. See, now now here, let me just be honest. Jeremy Sohan, you guys know how I feel about Jeremy. Like, he stays. I'm wondering, where does Malachi and Blake Wesley fit into what we got going now? Like, that's something that really worries me, and that's something that I'm really thinking about. Like, I don't know how they necessarily fit with what we got going. Blake Wesley, he's not a point guard. Okay, so he's going to be slide at that shooting guard position. And Malachi Branham, what he's great at, I don't know if we can fully utilize it. Rather than just using him as a spot up shooter, he is a player that can kind of do a little bit of both, and he's great on pick and rolls, but he's not going to be the primary ball handler at all now, like at all. So that's one thing that worries me just a little bit. Now, what's interesting about this, and you guys probably notice, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players, and then you add in Mamu and Charles Bassey. So the Spurs will definitely have to replace some of these spots if they were to move away from, you know, any of these players. So it won't be just a trade and you just get some picks or something like that. Like, they're going to have to fill up those spots with someone. And that's where, you know, me personally, I would love to see Harrison Ingram in this rotation or in our 15-man roster. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of moving around. You know, I don't think that this is our final roster, and I don't even think our roster ends. If this is our final roster, I don't even think it ends like this at the end of the season. I could very well see Chris Paul and or Harrison Barnes being moved by trade deadline in February. But overall, guys, I'm really excited. I'm happy that Bassey is back. We know how desperately the Spurs needed a backup center. Hopefully he can just stay healthy. That's the main thing. That's the main key. So if Bassey can stay healthy, we are good to go, and we are in a pretty decent situation there. Now, when it's all said and done, we're gonna eventually have to get another center, right? We're gonna need, you know, he's, if anything, right now he's kind of a placeholder. I think the Spurs know that, right? Fully guaranteed 1 year, $2.2 million. They know that. They know that. So we'll wait and see what happens. And also, just to give you guys a little bit of, let's see, I want to show you our salaries. Salary Spurs. So here are our salaries right now. Obviously, it's not going to be updated, but you can kind of see here. Wait a minute. Wait, this isn't it. That's not what I was looking for. Silly Google. Here we go. There we go. This is what I was looking for. You can see here quite a few contracts are over after that 25-26 season. So you can definitely tell that the Spurs are going to be ramping things up in the next season. This season right here, we're just trying to fill in some spots right now. It's a lot of placeholders, right? Chris Paul, unfortunately, you know, he is a placeholder. Same thing with Harrison Barnes. He is a placeholder. I don't think that the Spurs will go through with this entire contract. More than likely, he will be moved. That's just what I think, but you know, we could be wrong. It's fine. But when it's all said and done, I think the Spurs are really ramping up to do some extensions, obviously, and there's going to be quite a few players coming in. And Spurs could potentially end up having at least two first-round picks next season, especially if they don't get off. Well, they can end up having technically 4, but they're not going to have 4. Probably three if they decide not to move that Chicago Bulls pick anywhere. But anyways, guys, just let me know what you thought overall. Sorry I rambled a little bit. Just wanted to talk a little bit about who I want to stay, who I want gone, and also just, you know, this season is one in which, you know, we're not really ramping up for the playoffs. We're going to try to win, but we're not ramping up for the playoffs. It's just another step in that rebuild, and I'm glad that Charles Bassey is back. I really wanted him to be back, especially if he can be healthy. So that's kind of the main thing. See, someone said also, yay. Nobody cares, man. Announce good players. Wow. Casual. Woo. Tyus Jones to Clippers soon. He is good. Respect Charles Barkley. Anyways, yeah, no, Charles Bassey is a pretty good player. No one would know about him, though, so I don't blame him. Anyways, get with you guys later. Till next time. Bye.